Got to start it over. Live production here. 3, 2, 1.
Down to Dort. Down to Dort. Down to Dort. This is Lee Dort and I'm down to dunk. This is Lee Dort and I'm down to Dort.
I'm Josh Giddey and I'm down to dunk.
Hey, this is Kenny Hustle, and I'm down to dunk.
I'm Darius Baisley, and I'm down to dunk.
I'm Mike Muscala, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Poku, and I'm down to dunk.
I love cereal. Captain Crunch, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Cracklin' Oat Bran.
Oh, I can have these? I'm going to share with my team, but I'm going to hog most of them.
Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew. I'm struggling so much today. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. We really appreciate you guys being here today. On Mondays, as always, I'm with my guy, Michele Barra. Michele, what's up?
Well, I cannot podcast with this microphone here. It's been a struggle. I don't know how to set my camera in order for it to be in the middle. I tried.
If you're watching on the YouTube page, you can just see our struggles. We've been struggling mightily so far to start this pod. As did the Thunder last night in Oklahoma City against the Mavericks. It was a rough game. They lost 103-84. They only scored 13 points in the fourth quarter. A lot of that was just they couldn't hit anything. I mean, outside of Shea, he really had no help whatsoever. And when Lou Dort goes out, halfway through the game, he's playing 16 minutes. He doesn't come back after halftime. You start Teo Maledon, and you realize the Thunder are about to get a really, really good loss here against a Luka-less Mavs.
Yeah, it was a weird decision, the one to start Maledon in the second quarter. It seemed, in the second half, it seemed like a very wise and thoughtful tanking decision to me.
Yeah, agreed.
Like you have a guy that is frisky, that is on it's not on a tear, but it was on a good run in Trey Mann, and you start Teo. He played good enough defense, don't get me wrong. He made a huge play in transition to avoid what could have been the only transition point of the night.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, so very, very good on Teo. But for the rest, I mean, the guy is just, I don't know, whatever on offense is struggling mightily to find himself, I think. I remember us being extremely excited after first few preseason game last year. He was like shooting the ball very well. And now all that seems long gone.
Yeah, there's just not a whole lot to him, There's just not a lot going on there when he's on the court that makes you believe that he's going to be able to be anything but a guy that's done after his rookie scale. He's not even on a rookie scale. He's on a second round deal. I mean, I don't really understand the decision at all, because Trey Mann only played 14 minutes last night. Like, what's the harm in giving him 24?
No harm. Yeah, he wasn't playing very good defense, though. I have to admit that he against the Lakers, he was better. The game before, was it against Toronto? He was better. Last night he wasn't really good at defense. So
Yeah.
I think that was his share of broccoli. You have to eat them. So
I suppose. It
yeah.
would have been a lot more fun to see more Trey Mann. That step back 3 he had last night. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
This space that he created
Yeah.
on that particular shot was
And you could see it coming. Like
yeah.
you could see that. Yeah. There it is. There it goes. And it goes in. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's there. You can sense that he's going to take one.
Yeah.
And that the defender is already done with him.
Yep.
So it's that is a feeling that you don't have all the
Mhm.
time about
Mhm.
NBA players. But with Trey Mann, it's clear. I mean, yep, you got him. Yep, that one. So it's he. I mean, we all knew that the thing of Trey Mann was that kind of movement.
Yeah. Yeah. And doing it he hadn't really done it a whole lot at the NBA level, but he's starting to get comfortable. And it's really fun. It's really fun to watch.
Yes.
Rough night from Giddey. Overall,
Mhm.
6 points, 7 boards, 4 assists, a steal and a block, 4 turnovers. He didn't look particularly comfortable last night. He drove the lane and got stopped and didn't really know what to do, kind of had to turn around and pass it out. So, he's learning, he's figuring some stuff out. And then a fine night from Shea, 18 points on 15 shots is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. 4 boards, 5 assists, 2 blocks. He did have 2 nice blocks last night. It's good to see Shea in there and use his length like that. And then really, I mean, the big story is Dort, and how important he is to this team. Like Kevin O'Connor actually wrote on the Ringer today. This is coming from somebody who has watched probably close to 80% of Marcus Smart's career.
Mm-hmm.
He said Dort is better than Marcus Smart. He said he's better. He's a better player. Okay.
That is an interesting take.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. I agree 100%. I think that I got a message I did an AMA or something that was commenting on one of the posts. I don't remember. That said that his off-ball defense is not there yet, and this is very true. You could see many times where he's late in closing out situations. So I think that offensively, yeah, I can see why KOC said that he's better. On ball defense, he's as good as it gets. He's not Tybal. He's not there with the best version of Marcus Smart, but he's good. He's very good.
Yeah.
But the off-ball defense needs to come. I mean, and it's the difference between guys like him and Dre. I mean, Dre was insanely good at both.
Yeah.
He was never in the wrong spot, never late to a closeout. And same was Paul George. I mean, less of a on-ball defender, but the way in which Paul played the passing lane was insanely effective. And part of it is length, being 6'3", 6'4".
It helps.
Yeah.
When you're 6'8" and have
exactly the 2 players that I mentioned were 6'7" and 6'8", so there is a natural advantage, but still, I mean, there are guys like Chris Paul that never miss a beat unless they decide to on off-ball defense.
Yeah. Also, Dort's 22.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that stuff is on its way with Lou. I would be shocked if he didn't get it. I mean, think about this. Like, Andre was 22 when he came into the league and didn't play very much at all his first season. He played more his second season, more his third, and then hit his peak in his fourth season. And he's 25 by then. This is Lou's already had quite a bit of time in the NBA and is figuring things out. And part of KOC's point was that he's a much better offensive player than Smart.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that he has learned how to drive and finish and just barrel in to the chest of people. And we discussed this last week, where you barrel in, you hit the chest, and then you're going up. It's not all at once. Like that's a huge deal. I mean, and Andre was a great player for the Thunder. I don't want to diminish what he did, but the guy never averaged more than 6 points per game.
Oh yeah, no. And I'm don't get me wrong. I'm
Oh, I'm not
talking
saying that
about
you're
the
comparing
Dort of
it.
today.
I'm just saying that maybe even Thunder fans to a degree are underrating who Lou is and what he can be. Which sounds crazy, and maybe it's just like a portion of the fan base that is, but like Lou could be a real building block
Oh
for
yeah,
a team.
oh yeah, no
Very
doubts.
real building block.
No, I wanted to be like a little bit. I don't know, maybe not harsh, but critique of Lou's defense, because everyone say like he's a great defender. I think that he's a very, very good on-ball defender. But I think that we need to realize that off-ball defense is as important than and again, I'm not projecting Lou Dort. Like I'm saying, probably today, if you have to win a basketball game tomorrow, I'm not sure you pick Lou, or at least it's debatable whether you pick Lou or Marcus Smart. I think you pick Lou over a guy like Matisse Thybulle, because the offense is really, really low for Matisse. But hey,
that's the Andre comp.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
Matisse. Like Matisse is the Andre Robertson comp.
Yeah,
you know, and that's I mean that's great for the Sixers to have that, but
yeah, those guys can win you games.
They can
as we
win you
saw.
games, but they also provide a ton of limitations.
Yeah,
offensively that you have to deal with in one way or another, and Andre dealt with it by being a better ball mover. Is how he dealt with it.
And screener.
Yes, yes, exactly. They'd run screen and rolls for him, and that's when he was at his best. Whenever he set a screen for Russ, roll to the hoop, and really be in the dunker spot. You know, they did that a lot whenever he played with Russ and KD, is that they would leave him in the dunker spot, and that's about the best place you can put him. So it'll be interesting to see where Matisse lands. Hopefully he can have a little bit more confidence, because it was all confidence with Andre. Like it really was.
And mechanical issues. Like the shot was never going to pan out. Like it was just like too weird. And
it's too weird. He knew it was weird. Everything felt weird about it. And Lou, like, to Lou's credit, I had worried about that a little bit with him in his first season here, that perhaps things could get weird for him too, because he missed a lot of threes his first season. And he doesn't lack any confidence whatsoever, which is something, obviously, like everybody that gets to the NBA has a level of confidence, you know, that's like pretty high in comparison to probably most people. But what he's been able to achieve so far in his career is pretty outstanding. I mean, he's 20 years old, and in his third season, he's 17, 3, and almost 2 assists, almost a steal, shooting 33% from 3. Man, they're gonna miss him a lot, because making up 17 points with this roster is not easy.
No,
like, it is not easy, because he not only does he get you points, but he also helps create looks for others, because he is so willing to just drive the lane and get downhill and just push and push and push. And then also the point of attack defense. Like who's the point of attack defense now? You know, like he's a very good one-on-one defender when they play, and I don't know if he's going to be out against the Pelicans. I don't know yet. But if he is, it's kind of one of the more important games for him to not play this season. You know,
just unleash, man, and forget about defense.
Yes,
unleash all often, or just play Kenrich if you really want to have a stabilizing force in the starting unit.
Sure.
Probably neither will happen. I'm sure that someone like Ty Jerome or Theo Maledon will get to start this game.
Yeah, I would guess. I don't know.
Baisley and JRE plus a center. That can happen as well.
Yeah. Shout to Baisley. I'll say his name today. He played pretty well last night.
I mean, I would not say well. As I mentioned today in the Thunder After Dark, I said, well, yes, tonight you don't get broccoli just because they already gone for all your teammates.
He made some nice passes. He didn't take too many shots.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
It was one of the better versions of him.
Yeah, and he played good defense on KP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't knock him last night. He gave the effort. He was just kind of, he gets a little weird after games sometimes, especially when he's on the podium and he gets to talking. You know, I don't know. He's just a different kind of guy, Darius Baisley. But I'll say his name. Shout out to Darius Baisley today.
Yeah.
Man,
Marksman, Darius Baisley.
Yeah, they played so many guys last night. They played 13 guys, I think. It was just a lot. And
not too much.
It's interesting. Like, there's just no Isaiah Roby, just like none. You know?
Yeah, handling Isaiah Roby and Ty Jerome has been extremely weird and perplexing. Like,
yeah,
what is their role?
You play Favors and Muscala. I don't know. I part of me just feels like, what are we doing with Derek? You know, like, I love that he looks like Giant Dort, but I'm just like, other than that, I'm just like, what are we doing here? Because he started him in the second half, the last 2 games, and it just feels a little bit just like, what's the point here? Like,
Keep him happy,
I guess, but like, what is an unhappy Giant Dort doing? Like, I don't know. It's just a weird one.
I have no idea.
It's a weird one. Like, what's he gonna do? Like, what is Derek Favors gonna do if he's upset?
But maybe it's not even like he's there. He doesn't complain a lot, so he plays, and then maybe in the summer someone will say, "Hey, we'll give you a 3-year deal that is bad if you give me Favors, and I'll give you also a pick for that." I say, okay,
yeah.
So you want to keep him happy, the agency, like keep the agency in check and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, or even sitting Mike. Like, Mike's not going to care about sitting. You know.
I want to watch Mike. Like, he's good.
He is good. I like him. I just don't want to win very many more games. And Mike is helpful in the winning games department.
Yeah, I know.
The space that he provides is like the blueprint for what this team needs.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't necessarily have to come from the center position. I think it is helpful if it comes from the center position. But if just having somebody that teams have to scramble to.
How much do you think about Jabari Smith when you say stuff like that? I kind of think of him a lot.
I'm trying to guard my heart a little bit because he would
you think he'll raise?
He would be really good for this team. I don't know that I'd pick him number 1, but if the Thunder get the 2nd or 3rd pick, I'd have to think really hard about being the guy. I'd have to think really hard. I think I'd still take Paolo number 1. At this point, just because the guy, like the Thunder still are just desperate for somebody that can go get him a bucket. He's going to be able to do that. And if they can get him in the Thunder program and get him to play defense at a good enough level, like, now you're really cooking.
Yes.
You know? That's kind of my feeling on that. Okay. This is not going to be a very long show today. We both have extremely busy days. I've got a lot going on. I do want to talk a little bit about the Lakers game. The Trey Mann dunk was unbelievable Friday night. And I think everybody in the arena was kind of shocked when it happened. And I was floored. I didn't even know that was in his bag at all.
Yeah.
So I went to YouTube and looked. I just combed through YouTube. Trey Mann dunk, Trey Mann highlights, Trey Mann. There's nothing. He's never done that. And so afterwards, I was just like, I asked him, when was the last time you dunked like that in a game? And he said he hadn't done it since his junior year of high school. He had said in his junior year of high school, he had one similar to that. It was 4 years ago, by the way.
That's insane.
Because he said, I said, listen, I've looked through YouTube and I couldn't find it. And he said, yeah, I tried to dunk twice and missed twice in college, and that was it. He said, I never dunked in college, never finished a dunk in college. It's just a little perplexing that he can just rear back and do that, and he never dunked in college, and didn't dunk his senior year of high school. I asked Mark about it. I said, have you ever seen him do that before? He said that 2 weeks ago, he did something similar to that in practice, and he said that he told one of the other coaches that maybe we need to start making or drawing up lob plays for Trey because he can get up like that. But that was really something, because I didn't know he had that in his bag at all. Because like we watched like a bunch of synergy on him, and he never did that. Like he's just kind of being fancy. You almost don't even know how athletic he is. Watching him at Florida. Like he didn't really use his athleticism, and some players don't. Like some players are crazy athletic and they don't play like it in game. Like Trey was just a little bit different. Also, Dwight Howard was really on Friday night. He took, so there's this mat. It's like a sticky mat that they have in front of the scores table, and they put a new one down every game. The players have to rip off the plastic of it so they can get like the stickiness. I don't really understand it. I've never used it anyways, but I always see them take off this like plastic wrap stuff off the top of it, and they take it and they usually either hand it to like the ball boy, or they hand it to somebody at the scores table who throws it away. Dwight Howard takes it and he chunks it up into the air. Well, I'm like furiously working on something for Slam and Jam during a timeout, and I see him throw something, but then I look up just in time for this wad of plastic that he's wadded up to hit me right in the head. So that's like Dwight Howard number one. I was just like, wow, Dwight Howard just threw something at me. And then this is hilarious. There was a guy kind of heckling him a little bit in the stands, and Dwight went over, and there's this box. So at every team has a box of gum. The Thunder have a big box of gum. Every away team brings this box of gum, and it has like any kind of gum that you would ever desire in this box. And so he goes over to the box of gum, takes out a piece, and tells the guy that his breath stinks. He can smell it from here, and he throws a piece of gum to him. It was just unbelievable. Just an unbelievable time watching Dwight there on the sidelines. So anyways, predictions for this week, Michele?
I have to check who they play against in order to answer this, but maybe you can help me. I think that they go to New Orleans, as we said, and then on weekends.
Yeah, they've got New Orleans. It's in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then over the weekend they play another one.
I'm pulling up the schedule right now. What do you think happens in the New Orleans game? I think if Dort doesn't play, I think the Pelicans win.
It's a nice way to get back into a losing streak, I think, especially if Muscala plays very little. I wouldn't be surprised if they rest someone else. I know that they are afraid of another Memphis kind of game, but I don't know.
Yeah, they may be afraid of that. But yeah, and then
to be ashamed of.
The Clippers, which is like the no lose game. Like it doesn't matter,
Yeah, but I think they will go, especially if Lou doesn't play both games. They'll probably lose both.
Yeah. The Pelicans one is the big one, and then they get Memphis again in Memphis.
Yeah,
on Monday, December 20th, so a week from today.
Yeah,
So
but that is going to be a
nice.
challenging game. I think that for that game they will, especially if Lou plays, they will be up for the challenge this time.
Oh, I agree.
They will play hard.
They will at least not lose by 73. We can promise you
that. That's a good guess.
Oh man! All right, I got to bounce. I've got 4 things going on right as we speak. So thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate everybody who tuned in on the stream, and we will talk to you guys again on Wednesday.